Welcome to another edition of We-On-Loc Nation. I am your host, We-On-Loc, and we are going to be talking about another a continuous, in my opinion, what I think should be the next CEO, CEFO, COOO in office, Jasmine Crockett. Now, I want to thank my homegirl for stopping by. First and foremost, I haven't seen you in a while. Hey, anti-social gamer, I see you. Hopefully, you will one day vote it, because again, this is just hearsay. I'm not saying this is news. I'm not saying it's fake news. I'm just saying for future purposes, this person that grew on me for the past, I would say, year and a half, she grew on me for a purpose, and that's Jasmine Crockett. I'm going to get into my reasons why this woman is qualified. But first, I got to pay some bills real quick. These are called hater message, for these hater messages, because there are a lot of haters amongst us. Sort of like
Jasmine Crockett. She wants to be, I don't know, like this caricature, right? Like this ghetto boo thing. Like, hey, look at me. I'm some gangsta black bitch. And, I'm about to pop a cap in your ass.
Every time Jasmine Crockett opens her mouth, she exposes herself as the most fraudulent member of Congress. Everything from her fake wig to her fake accent. And I'm not even being mean when I say that. This is a woman who went to elite private schools, went to a top-tier law school, but still would rather portray herself as a cast member of Real Housewives of Atlanta than a member of Congress. I think that's absolutely absurd. Yeah. And so I think to hear the story that, she's bullying her 20-something-year-old congressional staffers and having them treat her like she's the president of the United States, maybe in her own mind, but only thing that she will ever be president of is the president of the Bad Wigs Club. And that's all I have to say about that. Bad Wigs.
Another name is the president of the Bad Wigs Club. Another name is the president of the Bad Wigs Club.
That dude sound gay. Now, look, I first saw Jasmine Crockett about, like I said, a year and a half ago. And when she mentioned I think it was the 6 B's, big, blonde, bitch, boo, bop, whatever, boopity, bop, body, whatever. I want to get the shirt. But I want to give a shout out to Reese Waters, because Reese Waters be cooking the shit out of Republicans. Republicans that just foam at the mouth. And of course, we heard Stephen A. Smith. We don't even bother have to play that because it's unplayable at this moment. And I would say to Stephen A. Smith and Charles Barkley, just in case, and a couple of others, stick to sports. Stick to what you know. Stick to getting your ass whooped, getting your ass handed to you by LeBron, Ramon James. Yeah, just a couple words for you. We all know he's a capitalist. We all know he flips in and out like, in and out hamburgers. But this is where the train stops for me when it comes to these black conservatives. Now, again, we're learning and we're continuing to learn. And this is a flip. This is a flip for even me. I usually do Umar content. I usually do any type of content. I'll do type of content for, simp suckers, whatever you will call it. But this is a little bit more important. A friend of mine helped me realize something a little more forthgoing is down the road. Not saying that I won't do any more Umar content, because believe me, I will. It was funny when he came out this morning, but if you have if you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, go to his Instagram, and it's just so hilarious how he just come up with new words that I never thought he would come out with. Shouts out to the Prince. Shouts out to the Prince. That's my guy. But again, Jasmine Crockett, defense attorney. She's about to get a new district. I think it was the 30. I think she went from the 30th, which got taken from by Donald Trump, all because he's a hater. And oh, by the way, Mrs. Letitia James, I think that's her name. I don't want to butcher it. Free that lady. Free that lady. Bury Donald Trump with everything. Just throw everything at him. Don't even throw the kitchen sink at him. Don't even throw the kitchen sink, because that requires water, and we don't want Donald Trump even breathing up water. Okay, well, we don't want to get Mrs. Bondi. We don't want to get Mrs. Bondi angry. Ooh. Bondi, the FBI director. Ooh, we don't want to get FBI. Well, you're talking bad about Trump. You're threatening Trump. Yeah, I will threaten a white supremacist any day of the week. I will threaten a member of the Ku Klux Klan any day of the week. Oh, I almost forgot that's his daddy. That's not him. Even though he is a racist, a bigot, very, very prejudiced, but I digress. He's your president. No, he's not. But didn't old Pamela Bondi just threaten? Didn't she threaten Jasmine Crockett?
Protests around this world against him because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law.
This one's personal. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett just went off. And honestly, who can blame her? The Texas Democrat unleashed one of the most fiery takedowns we've seen in Congress this year, and it was aimed straight at Attorney General Pam Bondi. Why? Because Bondi went on Fox News, or as Crockett called it, faux news, and threatened her. That's right, the sitting Attorney General, using her platform to intimidate a sitting member of Congress. And Crockett wasn't having any of it.
Thank the chairman. I now recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I first just want to begin with a news alert. Guess what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore. So maybe we can move on. Maybe we can move into the present, because it seems like we are living in the past. And listen, these are not the good old days, you know, like you used to sit around and your grandparents would talk to you about what used to happen. What we need to be talking about is how we are going to legislate, because I think that some of my colleagues have confused what our jobs are. And I get that we're sitting in judiciary. And so it may seem as if we are here to be litigators, but we are here to be legislators, which means that we are supposed to be writing laws, not trying to have our own trials and determine whether or not something is true or not, or whatever the case is, or who should be sued, who shouldn't be sued. All I know is that a great American hero, a good senator out of New Jersey, said something to the effect yesterday as he was shattering the record for holding the floor, a record that had been held by another racist in this country. As he shattered that, he said something about the fact that this should not be about left versus right. It should be about right versus wrong. And I am going to tell you that I want us to focus on right versus wrong. The reason that we are struggling right now in this country as it relates to people not trusting agencies, honestly, a lot of it is because of elected leaders. Let me tell you, one of the things that the chairman and I actually agree upon, we don't agree on a lot, is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress, we both are enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country. And I believe that it is because of the divisive rhetoric, and it is because of the selective enforcement of things. And so when we have, and I'm gonna be clear, because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way. To have the sitting Attorney General go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me. To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information, and they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm gonna say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook, because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around and get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law. For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him, because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right. The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong. This should not be left versus right. The only thing that we're asking is that we have law enforcement that will show up when there is an actual crime. If somebody calls and says, hey, I need you to investigate this cyber crime, or I need you to investigate this child pornography, or I need you to investigate this robbery, then we want somebody to show up, and we don't want them to look at us and act as if just because I'm black or because I'm woman that I am not worthy of having that case investigated, because we have an administration that is continuously railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion, or we don't need people that show up that feel like diversity should not be valued. That is why we should have somebody that may show up and looks like me. The final thing that I'll say, because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm going to walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job, and I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me. And that is what it looks like to serve.
I say she gave her 2 pieces of biscuit. A 2-piece and a biscuit. Never mind. But yeah, Pamela, getting grilled all this week or all last week, has been grilled for a specific reason, and that's to release the Epstein files. It's the same as Keish, I believe he's the FBI director, was pressured as well as to release the Epstein. What is in those files? What is in those files that's so important? So important to the fact that they're simply not releasing them. I mean, you only sent a little tiny fracture, and when I say I want the whole meal, I want the entire meal. Because at this point, at this particular point, I just believe it's just too late. We already know what's in them, but the important thing, we already know who, right, is in them. We already know who is in them. And because of the fact that Trump is running for office, he doesn't want anybody to see them. And the alt left is doing what it can, and I'm still trying to learn these terminologies. The Democratic Party, let's just put it that way, is trying their damnedest, right? Even Cory Booker, I'm sorry, Hakeem Jeffries, he's doing his due diligence. I would throw Cory Booker in the mix. Cory Booker, shouts out to Cory Booker. I was hoping that he would become president, but that would happen probably in my lifetime, because people are still praising Bernie Sanders up there. People are putting a real high-ranking person in the United States in that regard. I want, to me personally, somebody a little bit younger, a little bit stronger. But hey, I am not complaining. I am not complaining one bit. You forget, I am not Republican nor Democrat. I can care less. Republican, Democrat, it's my choice. It's my choice to get people into the seat that I feel is qualified. And that's why we're here today. The first person that I haven't seen or heard from in a while, shouts out to Miss Lucky. She's from my neck of the woods. And she also does Jasmine content, fair use. And I will congratulate my girl on a very successful live stream.
I don't see how we could say that we care about victims or anything unless we just don't care. But I think that list is at, we won't have a government. We'll probably have at least probably 10 people we could probably call. It's probably so many names that we can't even think of, and what they're gonna try to do is probably want to get the celebrities first. Now, let's go put out the rappers and the singers, some people we don't fucking know about. Let's keep putting out more distractions so that they don't really give a fuck about this. Because if they want to first say, "Oh, we're going to release the list," now we not getting no list. I think that list.
You were gonna get a list regardless. You're probably gonna get a small list. Oh, of course, the black people were gonna be out there first. Black people are gonna be out there. P. Diddy's name gonna be in it. So on and so forth. But we'll see.
This is very important. I don't know how people think, oh, we have bigger issues. No. Why do you think they're warning people to make sure their kids are homeschooled, or looking more into the fact that CPS and all these other organizations, these charity events, Roblox, everything are platforms to funnel trafficking. These charity events they say they're going to, those are storefronts, because we don't know, you don't even know, allegedly, apparently. The things that they're auctioning off are not what you think they're auctioning off. They're auctioning off children. They also have these things where so many people say that they do sick ass shit, where they have, like she just said, fake modeling agencies. That's right next to the owner of Victoria's Secret, who was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, who used his money, his planes, and all of that to help Jeffrey Epstein.
Money makes the world go round, as sick as it is. It's sick. It's very, very sick. And this is one of the reasons why they're not releasing the files, because they're gonna have something. So I mean, let's just keep it on 1,000%. We already know he's a fascist. I don't even know what that word means yet. Fascist, a rapist, just a narcissist. And very, very pedo-ish, very pedo-ish. I want to give a shout out to Dean Withers, this 21-year-old white kid who is basically tearing up the YouTube algorithm, tearing up my YouTube algorithm, and getting these mega people who I don't think mega has a mind. I don't think a mega people, especially black mega people, they don't have a mind. They just think whatever sounds good when it comes to government. It sounds good, and it sounds good for the beneficial for us black people. And I say no, nothing good comes from the government. Nothing good comes from, I'm gonna say that again. Nothing good or great comes from the government.
But then when it came down to it, he's like, oh, well, I had nothing to do with it. Plausible deniability. And he's the easier person to just throw under the bus. And if y'all think, this is just in my own conspiracy tinfoil hat, I don't think Jeffrey Epstein is dead. And that's just what I think. Shout out to
Alleged. But they always say, if you don't have any type of use for you no more, bam. You don't. If he wasn't dead, don't you think they would let him out, or they'll try hard as hell to let him out? Nah, you're a liability. You take them. It's just like a restaurant where you owe like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to the person you gave money, that gave money to you, right? And if you don't come up with a certain amount every month, it's like, I gotta take something. I gotta take an arm. I gotta take a limb. I gotta take something. I gotta do something. Finally, they just lit a match. Burnt the joint. It is so. Well, I'm in jail. I'm in prison. I'm in prison because I'm being allegedly accused of being a pedo and all this other stuff. Ain't my problem. So this is the reason why I say he is dead. He is. They weren't gonna leave. They weren't gonna leave him alive. They were not gonna leave him alive. they gangsterized his ass. But that's just my opinion. This for YouTube purposes, YouTube friendly, opinionated, friendly. Because again, we don't want Pamela. We don't want Pamela coming after us. Oh no, we're threatening the president. We're making these false allegations, fake news against the president. We don't want to do that.
Nixon. So if you're watching, please get the likes up, comment, share, and subscribe. That are more like me, that are more like from my cousins, that remind me more of something that's fighting. Because I feel like we think that we have to be buttoned up, and it makes those jobs and those positions seem far away. But if you see somebody who's passionate and they're the same way as you, and they've also accomplished things, and they're not being disrespectful, their passion just comes off very ethnic, I like to say. So what? These white people, we see all these people give their opinions unapologetically. So what the hell?
As usual. I mean, as usual, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that regardless. I remember so many instances people calling up to Dean Weather's show and just act like the old far right. Just Trump won, and there's nothing you can do about it. All these black women, all these Negroes, I don't want to say the other word, all these Negroes are going to send Kamala Harris $1 billion, and she lost. Like, they weren't going to put her in office anyway. There's no way in hell that they were going to put, even if she was black. But let me tell you, I think Jasmine Crockett, not only is she qualified, she's definitely qualified, but she has something that the other people in Congress, the people in, she's this special one. And this is why I'm fighting for her, even though she's not running for president. Again, this is just my opinion. I get people in the comment section all the time when I'm looking at my studio, and usually when I'm at my shorts, they just like they either congratulate, I'm also congratulating, and I want you to keep up the good, and I want you to keep up the good work. I want you to keep up the good work, people. I definitely want you to keep up the good work and go ahead and like, share, subscribe to the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Like, share, subscribe, and become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. But I'm going to go about it just one more time on the hater trail. Hate is very, very strong. The hate for Jasmine Crockett is very,
Jasmine
very
Crockett.
strong.
She wants to be, I don't know, like this caricature, right? Like this ghetto boo thing. Like, hey, look at me. I'm some gangsta black bitch. And, I'm about to pop a cap and
Gangster black bitch from the ghetto. When have we not heard that one before? Or where have we heard that one before? That's just quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed. So I'm going to give my 2 cents, if you will, about why Jasmine Crockett should be in the next 3 years. Next 3 years, while we suffer the most hideous, the most, I don't know, we're in a dictatorship right now. We're a dictatorship. That's why I call him the Antichrist. This is one of the reasons why I call him the Antichrist in the first place. When you have broad immunity by 5 members of the Supreme Court, 5 conservative members, might I add. Ooh, Lisa, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to hurt you. But let's stay focused. As my brother Umar would say, let's stay focused, brothers and sisters. Let's stay focused, my brothers and sisters. I ain't gonna say that, but all right. Well, but there's a reason why when you have money up to the ceiling, there's a reason why you have money up to the ceiling. You're a freaking billionaire for purposes that don't even make sense because you stolen damn near and did everything you could to stay up at the top. I mean, you're daddy's boy. I'm surprised he doesn't have a gold sheet, aka the white sheet with the eyes cut out. But he would paint it gold. Old Fred would paint it gold for his son. And now Donald Trump is doing this exact same thing for his sons. And his sons are going to do the exact same thing for their sons, possibly, maybe, who knows, right? So I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to lay it down thick. But first and foremost, I like to do some heavy cleaning to get my forethought out. That should take about a minute. Give me a minute. All right. Number one, Jasmine Crockett, as I said before, is not only qualified, but she holds people accountable, and she is not afraid. And this is the beginning version of my statements. The advanced version will happen down the road as I grow more and more and more into politics. Politics is not my strong suit for the simple reason is that at one point I really wasn't interested at all until this woman came and she hit me at first. When I first saw her, and I was like, and when she started talking, I said, who the hell is this one? Excuse me. Who the hell is this fine chocolate sister from Texas? And I did not even know that she was that young. I thought she was in her 30s. She's 44. She's 44. I'm 45. And each and every single day, each and every single week, I should say, and I'm sure she has the weekends off, she continues to own. She's on the far right corner, if you will. But due to the fact that when I saw this woman and she started scratching and clawing and getting in people's faces, not literally, but vocally, about what should go on in these United States of America and how Donald Trump is a piece of shit and so on and so forth, things started to get a little bit, I started recognizing myself and saying, I could actually get with this one. Unlike Cory Booker, who was a different breed, and we'll get to him at some point in time in the video. He's in how he held Miss Pamela accountable for her pick of the litter and why she's not releasing the Epstein files. I see it being another way. We can't be soft. No disrespect to Corey, but we can't be soft in these times. We can't be soft with anyone, even if she was a woman. I don't give a damn if she was a dog. The people who were violated by Epstein deserve the right. These people deserve the right to tell the American people what's been going on. And of course, it would incriminate Trump. We all know that. It would emphatically incriminate Trump, and he would be impeached. That's what we all hope. But again, sidebar, Stephen A. Smith, stick to sports, bro. Just stick to sports. That's all I'm going to say to you right now. Just stick to sports. Once you keep on cursing out Jason Witt, Fatlock, and his trifling ass, well, just go ahead. You were more enjoyable when you was on your rant the other day. You fat bitch. Did you tell him? You fat bastard? I was rocking with you then when you was doing that, but you just all over the place, and I get it. You was on there and you was all in Fox, getting interviewed and drinking coffee and taking dodos, and Bill O'Reilly with his punk ass, and the president was online, and you say, she's a great president. He would make a great president someday. That good old black man, Stephen A. Smith. He would make a great president. Really? I mean, you just going where the money goes, huh? But as I continue, she does not care. I mean, again, she wants what's best for the American people. And for the simple fact that you got people on both sides, even on both sides, and when I say both sides, there's only one person that I know that is, I don't want to say coming along because I don't trust her, and that's Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't trust her, but at the same time, when it comes to this healthcare situation, premiums are going to go up, and she was the first one barking loyalty to Donald Trump. But when she found out the premiums up, she was like, "Hey, it's going to not affect the America and older people when they're going to have to find out." Excuse me, tripping over my words. When they go to get their medicine, right? When they go to get their medicine and they find out that their medicine, the medicine that they need at the time, or the doctor that they want, that they grant, is going think that there's going to better their health or get them better medicine, and they find out that what was $5 is now $60, or what was $20 is now $80, and what's possibly $30 is going to be $100. You're going to triple your premiums by 100%. You're going to double, triple them premiums, all because they want their money in your pocket. It ain't about anything else. They don't about anything else. It's like those doctors out there are taking money. First and foremost, I hardly ever go to doctors unless I absolutely positively need to go to a doctor. Other than that, you don't need to be going to no ER. But that's beside the point. I don't know if these doctors are cold cut criminals or not. It should not take you as the president, or you as whatever the case may be, to see that you have to double and triple the amount of money and put it on these premiums and the tariff situations. You shouldn't have to punish the American people. But I told you people from the jump before he was inaugurated. I told you that Trump was on a vengeance tour. Case in point, Mrs. James, but I'm gonna get on her a later date. Free her. Free her at will. Listen, Mrs. James, come out with everything. Come out with everything on this man. Because how is you going to have 34 counts of whatever, and you're not in prison? Broad immunity, which means he doesn't have to do anything. You can't incriminate him with anything. Not under the law of the Supreme Court. You can't incriminate him with anything. You can impeach him, but you can't incriminate him. He's not going to jail. And what Tataji Jackson did obviously got thrown out. Now he's seeking vengeance, not just amongst her and amongst all the other black people that he's fired underneath him, but I told you he's going to take vengeance. I told you that. And another thing. People need to stop harking at the fact, and I'm talking about all these conservatives, is going to need to stop harking at the fact that just because they put a little piece of paper and have all these particular numbers and saying that this the United States is better off under Donald Trump, and rumor has it that we're going to be getting another stimulus package over like $2,000 for the next months to come, is a farce. Simply put, we don't have the money. That first time should have been the first time. I believe it was under Trump. The first time should have been the first time. The second time we got lucky. The first time I believe it was $1,200 or something like that. Then it was $600. Then it was $1,400. Then it was based on income. I believe we got $400. I believe we got $400, something like that. Where are we going to get the money from? Where are we going to get the money from where we're going to provide $2,000 to each and every single family in each and every single or married person here in the United States of America? You can't do it. We don't have the capital. We don't have the funds to do it. Hell, we owe money. The more you print, the more you owe. But you're not convinced. You're not convinced. I'm convinced that this, Jasmine Crockett is going to be a force to be reckoned with. I will have more and more details. Trust me on this. More and more details. But I'm going to lean on certain people from here on in. Shouts out to everybody who's been covering Jasmine Crockett. Shouts out to everybody who's been covering Hakeem Jeffries. And that was some funny stuff from the other day when he was in Congress's face. Not Congress, I'm sorry. When he was in that white boy's face, I'm going to start taking names. But he almost reminded me of a younger Barack Obama. He almost reminded me of a young Barack Obama when he first did that. That was amazing. But let's see what we can get into.
So my theory has been we need to figure out if there's a candidate that can expand the electorate, because I don't care if, I mean, we know that there were polls that had Colin Allred up against Ted Cruz. That was so far off base. It was wrong. Ultimately, I will do polling based upon kind of what the court does to figure out what all the options look like. But I think our best shot at winning is figuring out if there's a candidate that can expand the electorate. If I can turn out people that normally would never vote, then I think it makes sense for me to jump in the statewide, and it helps the entire ticket, because now you've got people that normally don't vote that are coming out. If I can't expand the electorate, I'm not even going to consider it, because I want to be fair, and there are other people that believe that they have a path in some way and whatever their math is, but I don't think that the math is getting Republicans to cross over.
Now, we all know she's not. Again, we all know she's not running for president. I'm not tripping on that at all. I'm pushing the narrative. I'm pushing it so it could one day, possibly, maybe, for the next, I would say, 7 more years. Who knows? But possibly in 7 more years, she can possibly become president of the high chair. She can become president of the high chair. My feelings are never going to waver from that. I wish that she could be president in the next 3 years. I'm never going to waver from that. But let's just see. Let's go into what she possibly could run for, because I wasn't really paying attention too much until my aunt started screaming in my ear about, well, you know, it's kind of premature and stuff like that. It's like, hey, if that plate is hot and you hungry, you gonna eat it. You gonna eat the meat off the bones until it's dead dry. Why go for the Senate, or not the Senate? Why go for, the legislator? Why go for senator? Why go for a mayor or a governor when you can just take the whole freaking office?
Big push here through congressional map changes. ION Politics reporter Jack Fink found out why during an interview you had this afternoon with the Congresswoman. Live from Dallas, give us an update on what that conversation was about today.
Well, Doug, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett accuses Republicans of intentionally drawing her home out of her district, District 30, under these newly proposed congressional maps. And as a result, she says she's now considering running in the newly drawn 33rd congressional district, where her home will be if these new maps are approved by Texas Republicans.
I'm debating about whether or not I would run where they put me, which is where I live. Yeah.
In 33.
In 33.
Congresswoman Crockett has served in the 30th congressional seat since January 2023, and her district is mostly in Dallas County, but also has some in Tarrant County. While the boundaries of her district would change, it's still considered a Democratic majority seat and will have a majority of African Americans by Democrat Mark Vesey, and is in both Tarrant and Dallas counties. Under the proposed new map of the 33rd district, it would only be in Dallas County and include Congresswoman Crockett's home. Congressman Vesey lives in Tarrant County, and he would not live in this district if it's approved. This will become a Hispanic majority district and will remain a majority for Democrats as well. And while Democratic Congresswoman Julie Johnson serves in the current 32nd congressional district, which includes Dallas County, under the newly drawn 32nd congressional district, she would also not live there, and also it would become a Republican majority district because it will stretch out to East Texas. Congresswoman Crockett told me today she does not want to move from her home. Members of Congress are not required to live in their districts. They only have to be a resident in the state in which they serve. Crockett said she wants to have a conversation with her current constituents and her Democratic colleagues in Congress about the situation they face.
Does Mark Vesey fit better into 30 now because it does have some Tarrant or not? And does Julie just kind of fit better at running in 33 than me? And is my district going to be okay with me running and being on this fixed government income and therefore not buying a home in the newly constructed 30? Obviously, I don't have to live there under federal rules.
Right.
But I mean, some people want somebody that lives in the district. And then obviously I want to talk to my colleagues and say what kind of makes sense so that at least hopefully two of us have the best shot at going back.
And Congresswoman Crockett tells me she believes she still has a very strong rapport with the constituents who will remain in the 30th Congressional District. Last week, I spoke with Congressman Mark Vesey and Congresswoman Julie Johnson about the new maps. They told me they are really focusing first on this fight against Republicans on these new maps and said they would focus on their individual races later on.
So she basically told you that in the 33rd district, where she resigns, and you know she's in Washington as well, she travels back and forth. I just wanted to say, Jasmine, be where you know, doing what you love to do is one of the things that we will support, whether you are running for this and that and the third. But to me personally, again, I can't stress this enough. I think being the president of the Oval Office serves you best because of your stance on America, which, again, a person like me, it used to be that I could care less about it. And I'll tell you my reasons why. And I would care less about it. But I care about them now because of how you express it. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of things that I would, call lesser, a specific evil. Right? Number one, I ain't down with all that gay shit. I ain't down with all that gay stuff. I ain't down with all the gay LBGT. I'm not with that. Never have been, never will. But we're talking about the lesser evils of the. I'm like Anubis. I'm like Anubis, and I got the weight in my hand is like what has the lesser evils. If you have the heart, it was like you shall live. If you have the feather, then you have to go to the underworld. Well, is that how that goes? But at any rate, despite all that in contention, I go, well, who would you want the desire to put in office? Because again, we have 3 more years to go. 3 more years of this dictatorship is going to get worse and worse. You see what's happening in Portland. You see what's happening in Chicago. You see what happened in LA. You saw what happened in Washington. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse because he is targeting Democratic states. He is targeting Democratic states for a reason. And talking about he's going to put them in jail. You could put these mayors and these governors in jail. I'm like, what are we doing? The crime rate is high, but you have a prejudiced, racist, narcissist, fascist, devilish Putin that allegedly is sick. And I'm not just talking sick, but I'm talking he's sick. But this is just alleged. Again, we don't want the Pamelas in the world. We don't want Pamela getting mad at us. Because this is just our opinion, right? This is just our opinion. Fair use, fair use. I am using the Fair Use Act. I am using my first, along with my First Amendment rights. But wait a minute. I don't have the right to say what I want to say under this administration now, do I? I don't have a right to really say what I really feel, because you've violated that. You violated the Second Amendment. You violated the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 22nd Amendment. Someone needs to provoke the 25th Amendment on your ass. And that just take the presidency away from you. But unless we're like Joe Biden, there's no way, shape, form that you're going to see away from Trump, unless, well, yeah, no, but not getting on that at all, because I don't want to get in trouble for speaking my speech, speaking the rights, what I got to say. It's like it is what it is, I guess.
All the amendments that are going to come up need to be defeated, and I yield back, and I thank my colleague from Louisiana for yielding. I yield back my time to him.
Gentlelady yields back.
I yield, Mr. Chairman.
And before I yield to the next person, we never did accept the Hill report without objection. So ordered for the record. Any other members seek recognition? Ms. Crockett.
Thank you so much. I just want to clarify, because I don't want the American people to watch this and be confused. When it comes to education, we typically don't have this big government view on things such as K through 12. When we're talking about our public schools, we're talking about our K through 12 students. There typically is a school board that is locally elected. So whether or not they are implementing certain programs or not, that's usually based upon whatever that local school board wants to do. Those local school boards are contained within states. Those states have different rules about what tests they want students to take or not. So there's state law, there is local law, and then there is federal law. When we look to the Department of Education is around to ensure equal access to education. It is supposed to promote educational excellence and provide financial and technical support to states, local districts, students, and institutions. They also do things like making sure that there is federal aid that is available. So yes, the Department of Education absolutely has a role to play, but their everyday role is not to be in the classroom and make sure that tests are administered a certain way or that there is a specific curriculum. In fact, they're supposed to conduct things such as our civil rights investigations, another area that the Republicans seemingly want to gut. And when we talk about civil rights, we're talking about our uniquely able students as well. We are talking about making sure that the resources are available no matter if you are born with a disability, no matter if you are born into poverty, no matter what the circumstance is, there has to be a level set, and that is what the federal government is supposed to do, is to make sure that we have a level set. The only reason that we're talking about local issues is because obviously we're in DC, and DC needs statehood like yesterday so that they can make their own decisions. But instead, we're deciding what we're going to send into D.C., and now this is supposedly about taking care of the poor black kids in D.C. Well, let me ask you, what else have y'all done for poor black people in this country? Give me another bill that y'all got, because that is not what you are known for, is looking out for poor black people. I'm just saying, these are the facts. So, in fact, nobody mentioned the numbers or wanted to play on the numbers until I brought up the fact that at a private school, they can decide who they do and don't want.
And unfortunately, with this administration, they may tell them, you're not allowed to give out scholarships to students that are of color, because we know that they've done that on the federal level. They said, listen, we're going to take your funding away at certain colleges if you're giving out money based upon the fact that someone is coming from a diverse background. We know that our HBCUs right now are really concerned that they may end up struggling because they tend to cater to a certain demographic. So please don't get it twisted. We, the American people, know that y'all have not been fighting for what is best for black folk, whether we're talking about in education or whether we're talking about the over-incarceration or over-policing as we see the invasions of black-run cities right now. I'll yield.
I'm just going to read a couple of comments in the comment section. And I'm not going to read them all, but I believe in what she is saying, but some immigrants, talking about the immigration, some immigrants come with their racist attitudes following YouTube, thinking they are better and have no clue. Go figure, just saying. Another one, stay focused on the Lord and don't allow anyone or anything to distract you. Stay focused on the Lord and do not be deceived by many. Stay focused. Hey, Crockett. Hey, Crockett, maybe. It's hard seeing immigrants. It's hard seeing immigrants get unlimited health. White people need help too, not just immigrants. Good Lord Jesus. I will vote for Crockett. I will vote for Crockett any day where I'm loyal to her in a new woke America for DUI and immigration and trans and woman. You go ahead, girl. Jazz Crockett for president. One love. Jeez. I mean, yeah, for people blaming the left for promoting giving health care to illegal immigrants and stuff like that was like it's more going into it. But white people swear up and down all day that legal immigrants shouldn't be here. You know why y'all go to the extreme saying that? Due to the fact that your numbers are dwindling, due to the fact that you can't reproduce anything. You can't produce not one damn thing. Hey, Lisa, you cannot produce not one damn baby that is of any other ethnicity. Could it be because you're threatened and the Hispanics will take over? If not the Hispanics, then it's going to be some other ethnicity, because your numbers are very, very, very thin. The numbers are very, very thin. But let me continue forward, because these comments are very, very telling. You know what I mean? These comments are very, very telling indeed. Where can I go to next? I'm gonna read these comments below. God will set up through this Trump nightmare. I hope God does. I will continue to trust God. He is not a man that he should lie. I think he's talking about Trump. Our lives are in God's hands. He has never lost a battle. So many liars, killing, stealing, deceiving, confusion. Jesus is not Jesus is not in the author of confusion. Commandments told us not to kill, steal, bear false witness. The country has waxed cold. As in Pharaoh times, this country will ultimately fail. One thing for sure, in God we trust must be real. If our trust is in man, we all fall. I mean, I have to give it to you. I definitely have to give it to you right there. But hate to be a bearer of bad news, sir. The government wrote your Bible. I'm just going to go from the 3-4 line. I'm going to jump from the free throw freaking line. The government wrote your Bible. Let's continue. How do you think he able to get? How you think he was able to get all these? Why do you think the European got all those things from Africa when they were rivers plundering and ruling parts of Africa? Why do you think that? Got all the minerals, got all the gold, got all the coltan, got all the diamond, gold, platinum, bronze. Why do you think they got all that? Why do you think they dominate with an iron fist? Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Honestly, when white folks shared their wealth with black people? This is just a question. Have white people shared their wealth with black people? I'll wait. No. And they never will. Because their aggression, their mission is to rule with an iron fist. Who's ruling with an iron fist now? Trump, a benevolent dictator, which I told you he was on a vengeance tour. But let me continue. A nation cannot survive treasure from within. Another one. Trust their enemies of the state, of the American people. How can you trust the Republican mega party when they put billionaires before working American people? No trust any Republican MAGA. Those are evil criminal acts. I would have to give that a shout out. I would definitely have to give that a shout out. I think that's it. Yeah, I had some other stuff earlier, but going onward, this is one of the reasons why you have to. It's not just because Trump is in office. You have to have faith. You have to have a little bit of faith in someone at some point in time. And I'm not talking about in the spiritual sense. I'm talking about this is God's land. Yes. This is God's land. This is God's everything. We all get that in a spiritual sense. But as long as we are living in flesh and in bone and in this body, we have to, and somebody has to keep these streets safe. Look what's, again, I can't say it enough. Look what's happening in Chicago. Look what's happening in Portland. Look what's happening not in Miami. Look what's happening in Washington. Look what happened in California. He's hitting Democratic states, and he's hitting them for a reason. Because he has converted himself greatly. He has converted himself greatly into a little child that likes to point fingers, and he likes to get temper tantrums. Wah, wah, wah. Look what these people did to me. Look what these people did to me. And I'm hurt, and I want my vengeance. I want my vengeance, and I want my vengeance now. Atasha James, throw the whole goddamn book at Donald Trump and make sure you don't miss this time.
Go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work.
You know, again, we could care less about Stephen A. Smith and his ranting. We could pretty much give a shit.
Uses to express herself. I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there? Trump, much work goes into that. I'm just for Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work saying that's the man in power. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him. This man, I'm something out of it for my constituency.
I mean, we all know that you're a capitalist, but damn.
Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas.
Oh, you mean this Jasmine Crockett?
It seems like everything that is important, this child ain't read the bill and has no idea of what's going on. I don't understand why Georgia keeps sending her to D.C. But this is not the first time that she wasn't quite clear on what damage it was that her party was ushering in. But listen, I will take her seeing the light at any point in time. And so, yeah, it's sad that she can only see the light when because she's elected to represent almost 1 million people up their struggles, but then making it about your children, your adult children, because their premiums are going to go up. Listen, I'll take a yes vote or somebody coming to the table, whatever way I can get it. But I just don't believe that that's how government is supposed to work. I elected me, and I don't think that I should be looking at it and thinking, well, because this personally is going to impact me, then maybe I should flip how I feel about it.
I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated.
No, starting with it, you seated that they don't have the House or the Senate, but she's supposed to be running roughshod through Capitol Hill, getting things done for her constituents. You know, the ones who she's constantly mentioning and advocating for alongside the rest of America, because we've definitely heard her advocate for people other than her constituents.
Jasmine Crockett is talking. I don't think that helps the Democratic Party.
You mean this Jasmine Crockett?
Stop falling for the okie doke. Stop believing the lies that they are putting out there and the terrible racist tropes that they.
I just want to stop for a second and say, darn you, Lisa. Darn you. Darn you. This man is just, I heard him earlier today. He's just too goddamn funny. I'm sorry.
They are constantly using to rile people up. It is time to recognize that while you thought the enemy was the immigrant, or you thought the enemy was the trans person, or you thought that the enemy was the black folk, or you thought the enemy were the women, when the reality is that
only person that is harming you right now. If you are struggling to make sure that you can pay your bills, if you're struggling to feed your family, if you are struggling to find a job, if you are struggling to keep your business open, or if you're a farmer, while we currently have record level bankruptcies by farmers, it is not any of those people on the list. It is the old white Nepo baby that is sitting in the White House that is causing all the destruction, pain, and problem that you are enduring.
Question. Who are the leaders of your party right now? It's not Hakeem Jeffries and it's not Chuck Schumer. It's all those names I mentioned.
Sean, there is no leader for the Democratic Party. That's why they're in trouble. There is no leader. That's why they're in trouble.
Repeat after me.
That's right. Real strong leadership. You know, like the guy who said he doesn't want the best for my enemies at a funeral.
Welcome on this show.
You mean this Jasmine Crockett?
Talking about a resolution that came before the House this past week honoring Charlie Kirk. And there were 58 Democrats who voted against it. You were one.
Yeah.
Why?
Absolutely. You know what? One of the things I do want to point out that's not been laid out that honestly hurts my heart is when I saw the no votes, there were only 2 Caucasians. For the most part, the only people that voted no were people of color, because the rhetoric that Charlie Kirk continuously put out there was rhetoric that specifically targeted people of color. And so it is unfortunate that even our colleagues could not see how harmful his rhetoric was, specifically to us.
I respect the hell out of both of them. I'm not here to disrespect anybody. I'm only talking about what strategy is going to work. When I hear Jasmine Crockett talking about how I'm just against all things and everything Trump, is that legislating? Isn't it an obligation that you have to come up with something?
You know what's crazy? All the time I see Democrats walking around with potential legislation and packets and bills and whatnot. It just be blank paper. It just be blank paper. I didn't know. It just be printer paper. They just be walking.
I'm still waiting on my stimulus check. I'm still waiting on my, what was it? My $2,000 stimulus check. I mean, I do need to pay some bills, and we need to put some food in this refrigerator. We really do.
You know, all of the information that we got from Trump about Project 2025, the thing that she's been talking about for a year. Yes, that agenda that Trump now publicly wants to embrace, but you didn't want to hear it when she was talking about it last year. You know, you were out keying with the same people that were attacking Jasmine Crockett personally for the crime of being, what's that? Educated. That's right. For the crime of being educated and from a well-to-do family. Yeah, that came from the folks that wanted to disavow Project 2025, an agenda that she clocked a whole long time ago. And by the way, while we're on the topic of educated black women, aren't you the same guy who had all that smoke for Michelle Obama and Oprah? Got Michelle Obama, Oprah, Jasmine Crockett. I don't know, some Megyn Kelly vibes. You know what I mean? Just
Could have done it.
You sure right. I couldn't do it. But anyway.
Even an Elizabeth Warren to a lesser degree or what have you, the Republicans are having a field day. They like, put them up on the screen. Let's show them. They plaster them all over the place.
Now, you did mention AOC alongside Jasmine Crockett again. He does get his talking points, don't he? He knows stuff. Did they put that in prompter? Did they put that in prompter?
Because they have nothing else. Laugh at them. Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10", and he looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10", and he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible.
Jasmine Crockett?
He instigated the insurrection. And if I did say that I had one issue with the Biden-Harris administration, it is the fact that they did not move forward and make sure that this man was put where he should have been put. Because the last time I checked as a criminal defense attorney, and Mr. Attorney General, you may have a different experience, but I never had a defendant that had 34 convictions for felonies and did not spend one day in jail. Never in my life. And the last time I checked, the party of law and order is the only one that decided that they would be out of order and decided to nominate someone who was not only indicted but was actually convicted of multiple felonies. That has never happened in this country, and it is a shame that we are dealing with it now, and now he wants to tell y'all how to do your jobs.
If it serves to alienate folks because they're saying you're just him on the other side of the aisle, acting the same way you're accusing him of acting, and then you get dismissed. AOC, I believe, can win the Senate seat in New York over Chuck Schumer. I don't think she'll win the presidency. Gavin Newsom's talking about potentially running for the president. Actually, he's not talking about it. He's trying to avoid talking about it, but we all know what he's doing because he has to leave the gubernatorial seat in 2026, or the governor's seat in 2026. We know what he wants. You gonna pull it off with the record that took place in California all of these years under your stewardship? It's nice to see him sticking his chest out and going off. You think they don't have clips?
Why don't you just do this and just did you see that clearly? Did you see it clearly? I'll show it to you. Why Stephen A, why don't you just do just like this? Every time these people come around, and when Trump comes around, when Sean Hannity comes around, when Bill O'Reilly comes around, that guy, just do this. You know those fish. You know those fish in the tank, in the pool. Yeah. Just do that. Just do that. Convince the people. Convince the people that you are supreme ass kisser.
How you embraced extreme leftist policies during the whole woke movement and cancel culture and everything else? You think they don't have those clips? You think they didn't see people getting arrested and let out of jail the same day? You think they don't have footage of crime ravaging the streets of Los Angeles or homelessness? You think they don't know about the cost of living and how it's the highest in this republic right now?
I told you. I told you. Now, I do appreciate that you slipped a dude in there. That was helpful.
Up not once, but twice. Imagine standing in front of a judge with your whole future hanging in the balance, and instead of prison, you are given a promise of mercy. Your record gets wiped clean. You get a second chance at life. Now imagine taking that promise and turning it into promotion. You go to college, you get a job, and even become a member of Congress. That's what redemption looks like. That's what America is supposed to be about. And that is exactly the story of the next wannabe governor from Florida. As a young man, he went through pretrial diversion for misdemeanor marijuana possession. As an adult, yet younger than 24, he was charged with and ultimately placed on probation.
Hold up. 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 Woo. Craig, you better be glad you ain't here. Okay. Mama say, mama side, Michael side, mama say, mama side. Isn't it the same person, mind you, Craig, when he was here? Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I got to find a way to get people here and now, because this is the most funniest joke of, I would say, my 10 plus years career of doing content. This is funny because someone told me months ago that what's his name again? Let me look while I'm clowning around. What's his name again? Mr. Brian Donalds. and Mr. Brian Donalds and how good he is and was and how whoop you whoop woo. And look at you now. I did not know about this. Arrested Florida Representative Brian Donalds was arrested for distributing marijuana and the crimes of I'm just belching all over the place. Where are my manners? Is distributing marijuana and the crimes of selling or delivering of cannabis is a third degree felony in Florida. And I can't even see the rest of that. Just up to 5 and punishment by up to 5 years in prison. In a separate crime 3 years later, Donald was charged with third-degree felony burglary as part of a scheme to defraud a bank. A third-degree felony for bank fraud in Florida is punishable with up to 30 years in a federal prison, probation up to 5 years, and a 5,000 smackaroos. 5,000 smackaroos. According to a questionnaire, however, Donald's files in order to be appointed by the Board of Trustees at Edison State College, Donald says that he was never arrested, charged, or indicted in any local, state, and federal. And you wanted me to vote for this dude.
Probation for felony bribery charges, which ultimately were 2 expunged. He was given a third chance, and now he's the face of a bill that would not afford young people in Washington, D.C. the same opportunities afforded to him. Let me be real. If he had grown up under Donald Trump's America or under the very D.C. crime bill he's pushing today, he wouldn't be standing here as a member of Congress.
That's right. The man who she
This is who you wanted me to pick. Wait a minute. This is who you wanted me to pick. Yeah, I know you told him. I know you did. And it was funny because I looked and was like, wait a minute, why is he bitching about AOC so much? Why is he bitching about you know about the brothers? You all about the brothers. I don't care about the brothers. I don't care about who's right for this country. And the only thing you kissing Jasmine Crockett's ass so much. You just simping. This is the reason why you simping, Loc. This is the reason why you simping. You drinking that simp Kool-Aid a little bit too much. This is what I was told. I wasn't told this by anybody else. You're the one who only told me that. And now I come to find out that this man was about to go to prison for stealing shit from the bank? Huh. Oh. 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 This is more. This is more of the reason. And you know why? Sidebar. Do you know and realize why we can't get along in society today? It's not internet purposes, because you can use the internet for good, and also it can be used for bad. Do you know? Yeah, make it make sense. Do you know that to this very day, these people in these safe spaces, all these crybabies, all these men still talk about relationships to this very day, and how they're, even though they're married, they're not happy with the world. It's like mind-boggling to me how things are they used to be. It's like, so are you saying that it's a woman's fault that you're not in a position of power? Are you trying to say this is a woman's fault because when you went off to war, well, white folks went off to war. When white folks went off to war, their women, not our women, their women had these corporation, they had these factory jobs and all this and so on and so on and so forth. Excuse me, I'm tripping over my words again. And when they came back, it wasn't the same as it was. Not really, not for everyone, but for some odd strange reason, you have gotten what you wanted, and now all of a sudden, you're still the needle economically has not moving for you. But these women out here, they're doing their thing, and they're doing their thing for obvious reasons. But you want them to give up the life that they have, all because of your ability to, or inability to not get yours, as you would put it. That's not femininity at all. That's called lazy M&E. Some of you motherfuckers are just lazy. There ain't no sugarcoating it. You're just lazy. You just don't want to get off the couch. You don't want to put the PlayStation stick down. You don't want to put the weed. Sorry for the Stephen A. Smith reference, but you don't want to put that down. You don't want to give up the party life. You want to be somebody that you're not. Okay. You want to have your cake and eat it too. I get it. That's still laziness, but it's okay.
Had to get together for pulling up the ladder.
AOC, everybody's profane. Everybody's talking big, tall doo-doo.
Oh, apparently I spoke too soon. Yeah, you made that twist, but it's no solidarity in Black MAGA.
You betrayed me. Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit.
But ultimately, so much news coming fast and furious. If you want to see our plea,
did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit.
But
folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit.
But ultimately, I didn't actually get a chance to do this because there was so much news coming fast and furious. If you want to see Stephen A. operate.
Well, Livin, I don't like that. But you know he's coming. The man is coming. And you have to adjust accordingly.
Tell me what you mean by that and why that is different than, say, pandering or self-censorship, and you think just the right move.
Well, listen, I think it's obvious that the president is on a vengeance tour.
Y'all know what that is? Y'all know.
You kissing too much ass, Stephen. I'm just gonna say it out loud. You just kissing way too much ass. Again, you just need to do this, and just pucker up every, and they'll fork you out a couple of more millions. But if you waver from that, Stephen, if you waver from that, and you got to do what you told. You got to apologize again. Y'all remember when he had to apologize the last time when it was I forgot the running back from the Baltimore Ravens when he got into a fight with his girlfriend, now wife. It's been so many years, but the guy that punched his wife, right after she spit on him and was beating on him or whatever, he knocked her out one time in the elevator, and everybody was erupted and abroad, and he came out and he said, well, a woman shouldn't be putting her hands on a man like that, and he was suspended for a week because it's not because of what they felt, it's because of what another woman at work, another colleague of his worked, and she's white, but she's no longer in ESPN. But when he came back, he was eating humble pie, and they patted him up on side his bald head, and they said, "Good bitch, good bitch. Now go on, eat some more humble pie, and we'll think about extending you." And they extended his contract, and now he's been making millions. He's been ruling with it how it feels. He's in television shows. He's in commercials. He's in show business. He's in show business and playing a couple of roles, all because he was kissing ass. He was doing one of those. He was literally doing one of those, and of course, he was getting people on. He was getting people on ESPN on that side, not Fox Sports. I mean, he took Shannon Sharp, and he made it honest. Him and Shannon Sharp was making an honest living, but because of Shannon Sharp's thing over there with that white girl, he lost millions. He lost millions. Some of these kiss asses, I'm telling you. But before we go, somebody pointed this out to me. And it's very critical because of the time that we live in under this administration, under the Trump administration. Yes, we do need to be careful, but in the other part, evil will never triumph. Evil will never, ever triumph, because even though we won't have the strength in numbers, we always have God on our side. And God often sends an angel. It's called the angel of truth, because of a certain woman who literally tried to get Donald Trump in trouble, and for obviously good reasons. And now he's seeking revengeance on not just Letitia James, but everybody else that is black. She ain't fair. She don't fear at all.
Of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding, all because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties. His decision to fire a United States attorney who refused to bring charges against me and replace them with someone who is blindly loyal not to the law, but to the president, is antithetical to the bedrock principles of our country. This is the time for leaders on both sides of the aisle to speak out against this blatant perversion of our system of justice. I stand strongly behind my office's litigation against the Trump Organization. We conducted a 2-year investigation based on the facts. Judges have upheld the trial court's finding that Donald Trump, his company, and his 2 sons are liable for fraud. I'm a proud woman of faith, and I know that faith and fear cannot share the same space. And so today, I'm not fearful. I'm fearless. And as my faith teaches me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. We will fight these baseless charges aggressively, and my office will continue to fiercely protect New Yorkers and their rights.
That concludes another episode on the reasons, or rather not the reasons, but somebody that we need, somebody that knows how to do a job and do a job right, do the job correctly. And I know somebody on here is going to say, name some consecutive orders that she has carried. It's like, I can go through it all day. I know she's voted no on the whole Charlie celebration of Charlie Kirk situation. But she is merely a piece of the puzzle. It's like I said, she wants to be in the 33rd district of her state in Texas. Possibly one day be a Senate, possibly one day be a mayor, possibly one day be a governor. But if you want to take that, why not take the whole effing show? That's just my opinion. That's just how I see things. That's just how I see fit. People don't like that stance. People just say, hey, well, she's not ready. Wait a minute. She is well ready. I mean, yes, she's human and she does stress. Hell, we all stress. I was stressed out last night, but got in the bed, slept it off. And she said, this is a little bit different. What she's doing right now is a little, is a lot more of an understanding than just having the Oval Office. And I get it. I understand it. But I believe you can do it. Whether it be 3 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, it doesn't matter. I believe you can do it. And I'm going to keep endorsing. I'm going to keep shouting to the heavens. President of the United States is now Madam. You hear that? MAGA? Do you hear that, Red Pill? Do you hear that, Manosphere? Welcome. New Oval Office. In the Oval Office, excuse me. The President of the United States of America, Ms. Jasmine Crockett.
Eat for days.